What's up, everybody? It's Vids, and we're back for some more Witcher 2. And last time, we went into that crypt thingamabob and met the King of the Dead, and he was all like, "We do not suffer the living to pass." And we were like, yeah, okay. So maybe, you know, we'll have to fight you and everything, but at least we emerged victorious. So I guess we're fine. Now, other thing I need to say is that admittedly, I messed with some audio settings on my end because my headphones were acting all weird. So if I sound differently in this video, let me know. There's definitely a high likelihood that that's the case. Can't necessarily say that I have figured out what the reason for that is, or well, had to reset some things basically. So I guess that is the reason. It's just that I don't necessarily know how to get things back to the way they used to be, so I'm hoping this still sounds okay. Now, as for where we want to go here is what I was wondering, because I mean, I'm assuming we want to head back. We actually don't have anything marked quest-wise, but I think that's pretty safe to assume we're headed back to town after having picked up the Dun banner. It was not hatred symbolized, but it was death symbolized, was the one that we just did. Now, this presumably would be the next main quest for us to do. However, it does say wait for events to unfold. I feel like that is something that I ought to spend a lot more attention on when those quests do say that, because there are probably times when we should be waiting for things instead of trying to actively seek them out, or vice versa. Let's see. Rose of Remembrance. We did this, didn't we? Oh, we got the Immortelle. We need the Royal Blood, which is actually coming from the King of Kedwin now, because apparently we've given up on getting Stennis's blood because he's more or less imprisoned. However, I still feel like that's probably a half-decent chance. We haven't really established how much blood do we need. Can we just give him a little nick and be like, okay, be on your way? Or do we actually need to, like, you know, slaughter this guy? Source of power. I don't actually know what exactly we mean by that. Okay, and crossing the other side of the spectral mist to find Triss, that is certainly another thing. Okay, yeah, see Philippa about the remaining artifacts. So that would be the thing that is probably what we are targeting most, because we did just pick up the banner. Okay. So we'll throw that on. Granted, nothing is showing up on our mini-map at the moment, but so be it. We could very well find ourselves bumping into some Kedweni soldiers here, because we did last time we were in this location, I do think. Is there anything over here? It looks all special. Like it's a part of some ruins, but I'm not really seeing anything. Okay, this is where I believe we ran into a bunch of harpies and or neckers. So let's brace ourselves here. And just admire the view. Maybe we'll just see if there's anything over here. Can we go? Oh, man! It looks so nice. I totally thought that that crow perching on whatever the heck that thing is was a person for a second there. Oh, and then, of course, it, you know, flies off of that and scares the bejesus out of me. Okay, so this is right next to town where we saw those soldiers, or bandits really, a while back who slaughtered us. I really wanted to bump into them again when we were not encumbered so that we could give them a piece of their own medicine. Unfortunately, it does not appear as though we can do that this time, so relatively uneventful return trip. Let's make sure we put our sword away before people get mad at us. So, will Philippa actually do anything when we give her this piece of the puzzle? Should we even give her this piece of the puzzle? I think we may not have a choice in that regard. I do see there's a blue indicator over here, which suggests that we might be able to pick up a quest here.
Hello there.
And there's also wine. Oh, just generally some of the low-end crafting materials that we tend to see a lot of. I wouldn't be terribly concerned about getting all those. It seems as though it's this guy. Do we know this person?
It's off.
This woman, sorry. I mean, we are, like, kind of, sort of robbing this group of people at the moment, so I guess I can't really say that I blame them for not being terribly thrilled with us at the moment.
Greetings!
You know, and maybe, like, don't be so enthusiastic about greeting
What was
me.
that?
But, it does appear as though it's supposed to be day, so I'm a little surprised that that person appeared to be sleeping. Every time I walk past those, it's tempting to loot.
Greetings.
But, we know what happens when we take those, generally speaking. There's a lot of weapons there, and it weighs us down quite a bit. More people with the blue question mark. At least I thought that's what that stood for. Side quests. Maybe I'm just totally wrong. Thought there was a blue quest indicator here. But what do I know?
Are you associated with sorceresses?
Okay. I also just generally wanted to offload some of our stuff here because I think we've picked up a reasonable amount. Potentially just junk like this. In which case, let's get rid of the excess weight. We did also pick up some crafting items there. We probably don't need to rate trophies. Otherwise... Ooh. I do not remember seeing these. These are quite possibly better than what we're currently using. Where did we get them? I don't know. Kedweni's? Whoa, the Kedweni sword is actually really good. Whoa! That's crazy good. Okay, this seems like a better version of this. Besides the whole damage reduction on block thing. Which actually would be a little bit, helpful. But if anything, I think we'd stick with the higher damage one to use ourselves. So let's take a look at that real quick. That might actually be an upgrade. Along with that pair of gloves we were looking at not long ago. Okay, so here are the gloves. And if we could compare them to our own gloves, that would be preferable. And so less reduced damage from magic. Does not extend the duration of blade oils, but I don't think that's a huge deal. We are using, I guess the ones we are using do currently have the ability to pick up additional alchemical ingredients, but I'm not sure how significant that really is. Getting 5 additional maximum load in our inventory, though, that certainly appeals. In addition to just 1 extra armor. Oops, I did not mean to drop our existing pair of gloves. Our existing pair of gloves were good, still. Did I in fact drop them? I thought I just dropped them. Or maybe I only unequipped them. I don't know. I don't love the UI of the inventory. Especially on controller, where you're kind of flipping back and forth between, on the right side, the stuff you actually have equipped, and on the left side, stuff that you can equip, but just have sitting in your inventory at the moment. It's not always obvious which one you have actively selected, so I think we still have it. Oh, except that was just the gloves. Let's do a quick check on the weapon as well. So, whoa, it's like a 50% damage increase? That seems like a pretty good idea. Still has the chance to cause bleeding, doesn't have the chance to cause poison, but does have a chance to cause knockdown, which we don't have any of at the moment. I think maybe, I don't know, maybe poison is better than knockdown, but certainly the 50% damage more than makes up for that, even if that is the case, and I don't know. So I'm all for that. Sweet.
Calm day, but tomorrow.
Glad we double checked. Okay, so we should be making sure we're headed over to Philippa, who is for some reason not showing up on our mini-map right now. Let's make sure we're marking it. I thought we marked it, but apparently not. No, and that's not how you do that. Despite wanting to have it show up on the map, what that really means is that we have to... Well, that's odd. So, we've completed Death Symbolized, so we can't really track that one anymore. We had the Eternal and still do have the Eternal Battle logged, and it is not currently directing us toward Philippa. My guess is that's because we've already asked her about where to find the other symbol, the hatred symbolized. So in this case, we need it from the sword. Unfortunately, the blade belonged to Saskia. It's been poisoned and lay dying. Though the Witcher had stolen from the dead. Yikes. Okay, so she presumably is in the city still. Though I do wonder if maybe there are other things we ought to consider in the meantime before we go all in on getting the various symbols. Here after... Oh, okay, no, this one is, I think, something we need to wait for. This one I think is... this might not be something we have to wait for, actually. Geralt learned firsthand that the Soldier of Fortune, Adam Pangrat, was tasked with killing Letho. Like, can we figure out who, or mostly where, that person would be? Because he's not showing up on our mini-map. That would lead me to believe that he's probably someone that we're going to end up running into no matter what at some point. And that might also be something that we just have to wait for. This is the one with just fighting, right? Yeah, this is the one with fist fighting. As is this? Yeah. And this one is just saving Saskia. Find a rose of remember. Yes, this is finding all the other stuff. Okay, so we have a lot of things that are like half finished basically at this point. And again, I was saying this when we first got all these quests. I don't really know which ones we ought to prioritize. I mean, Saskia is dying right now, which is probably reason to try to prioritize that. So I would think crossing the Spectral Mist would both help us get Triss and obtain some of Henselt's blood, since he is also somewhere on the other side of the mist. So I think that might be the best route to take. So we can get a few things in that case. Which means I think we are... Well, this is like the main entrance, or the center of the city. The primary way out, I think, is in this direction. Although now I immediately distrust myself. Yep, I've successfully gone in the opposite direction. Well done, me. Really? I didn't realize the entrance to the inn faced the wrong direction. Is that really true? Did I look at that wrong? That's definitely not what I thought. Oh, cause the main entrance exit is not directly south. Why did I just assume that was the case? It's actually west. I totally did not know that, but I realized the error of my ways. That makes a lot more sense. So is it up here? No, because that's north. Yeah, so, like, in theory, I kind of know where it is, but that doesn't mean that I actually know how to get there. So, like, we'll proceed to go around in circles. And I recognize that we were just talking to these people. I'm just gonna sell that other sword that we dropped. The Jagged Blade. Because, that weighs a fair bit. So if we are about to go on an extended journey, then we might as well make sure that we have as much inventory space as possible. Now, if I could just like learn how to actually use the journal, the journals, that'd be great. So we'll log this one, which may or may not send us in the right direction, which may or may not help me leave this city. But as I was saying before, I think there is certainly a possibility that we will end up doing the whole head cell blood thing more or less simultaneously. So as for which one really comes first, I couldn't tell you, but those are the two we have on our list. Is this how we leave? Or do we go slightly more this way? I said it before, I need a tour guide. Oh, I don't think it's this way. I don't think it's that way. There's a place of power here? It's an odd place for a place of power. In fact, that even makes me suspicious. Like, why would you ever have a place of power inside the city? Does that mean we're going to be fighting inside the city at some point? Probably. Should we have expected that? Yeah, probably. Do we have Eve through here? Or is this like someone's house? Because this is like someone's house. Robust cloth. Oh, that sounds nifty. Thought I saw other stuff over here. I want to deliberately avoid taking the timber. It's like I was saying before, we are about to head out, and the iron. And while some of the other crafting materials like twine and cloth are not terribly heavy, the timber and the iron ore, I believe, are. Nope, that's the primary way into the city. How the heck do we get out of here? Check the map again. What? I'm way too far north. It is down here. Sort of. And no, I swear, I can actually navigate in real life. I'm just not accustomed to going through dwarven cities with changes in elevation and map indicators that are not terribly helpful. Here we go. Because it's not on that elevation, of course. Okay, do we want our silver sword out or do we want our steel sword out? I'm actually not sure. I think we might be getting a bit of a mix of both. And I do remember there are bazillion places of power right around here. Before we head out too far here, let's save, because we did start running into wraiths as soon as we started going out here. So that might happen, like, starting right now. And when we tried going through here before, we basically instantly died going through the mist. So supposedly Philippa is gonna prevent that from happening. She was successful in doing something just like that. I'm gonna go silver, I think. Or no, I was on silver. Yeah, let's stay on silver then. Yeah, she was successful when she turned all owl on us before at doing that. Did she do that again? More Sasha. Is that her? No, it's not her medallion. What is that? Supposedly, I would assume that owl is Philippa. Okay, again, let's go. Silver sword out. We're gonna preemptively use Quinn, I think, because we know what happened last time. We should be fighting the occasional wraith and probably some draugrs, like right around now. Yep. Okay, so it was primarily the wraiths that we were trying to take down in that previous go-round. Oh, no, don't do that. So I think the method is primarily... No. The method is primarily just to fight the wraiths. And this happened last time as well, where Geralt just insisted on fighting people other than the wraiths. Can I attack you? Actually can. It's a little odd. We can basically avoid fighting them altogether if we just take down the wraiths, who are much safer because they don't fight back, which means we're mostly just trying to dodge the Draugrs and not accidentally provoke them. Now, this was a very long sequence the first time in which we did this. And again, Geralt insists on fighting the Draugr. Despite... Oh, actually, that's interesting. It doesn't have full HP, which suggests that this might be the same Draugr we were fighting earlier, that we got a few quick hits on. Nope. I got greedy there and tried to sneak in a quick attack. Come on. There we go. So now I think we can get some hits in. As for whether that is technically what we're supposed to do or not, I'm not sure. That was much faster than the first time we did this. Philippa, what's happening? Sky is no longer orange. Are we to the other side already?
I can go no further.
Oh,
If Deathmold senses my presence,
How will I get back to Verdun?
I'll wait nearby. Hurry.
Oh, really? Philippa, this was not a part of the deal. Just like, here, let me just drop you right in the middle of the Kadweni forces. Then I'll abandon you, because I totally want you to get absolutely destroyed. Okay, now I'd also kind of like to see where the heck are we? Suppose... Oh. I assume that's a Kadweni fortress to the left there, or something like that. And theoretically, we're not far away from where that is. I think now we're in Steel Sword territory. I would imagine, although I could certainly be wrong about that. Oh, this is our spot, apparently. Oh, that's... pretty sure that's us. In addition to Yorveth over there. That might be Saskia, although... Artist did not really do her any favors. Okay, I'm here. Ready to be ambushed. Oh. Who is this? We're stealing from them? Question mark? Uh-oh. What is it? Huh? I have no idea what that is. What's that?
I knew it. Damn, I knew it was you.
Ah, Roach.
When the mist started whirling, I told the boys it's Geralt of Rivia. Well, my name isn't Vernon Roach. Friend of yours?
Just found him. He was already dead.
Interesting. Just like a Vergeni. You almost made it through the fog. What's
All
your
right,
business
Bergen.
here?
I know we maybe didn't leave on the best of terms last time, and I may have also been the last person that you saw next to a dead guy very recently, and now frequently. But I swear this is merely a coincidence.
Triss is somewhere nearby.
Still looking for your sorceress. If she came here, I'd know about it.
Roach, I don't know. I think you're playing your cards awfully close to your chest. But I'm not sure if we can outright tell him that he's lying, because, I mean, yeah, we're not on the best of terms right now.
Roach, it's really important. Only you can help me.
Now you want my help? I'll gladly return the favor. Oh, wait. You did nothing for me.
Uh-oh.
You made your choice. Fled with the elves while Vess almost died at that Whoreson Laredo's house.
Do we try to go further down that route, or is he like, nah, man, you messed up big time, so you're dead to me? I feel like that's not a good answer. That's also a pretty standoffish way to respond to that, so I feel like this is really our only option.
Is this all right?
What do you care? We could have all died while you played at being a squirrel.
Okay, now he really wants an explanation.
I refuse to explain myself to you or anyone else.
Yeah, that didn't
Said
come
to
out
rid
very
of
well.
thieves and bandits.
Deride them if you will, but they're ready to die side by side with the simple people of Vergen. They've got better reasons to fight than orders.
Don't you care about Voltaire's death anymore?
The assassin kidnapped Triss, remember? Help me find her, and I promise I'll keep the word I gave you in the dungeons of Lavalette Castle.
I don't know why I'm doing this.
Okay, did we win him over?
Right. If Triss is anywhere in the area, it can only be one place. At the rear, near the riverbank, the Nilfgaardians have set up their camp.
Oh, it's
Nobody can enter.
Nilfgaard. What?
You can get there either via some caves or by sneaking through the main camp. I forget the gates. Believe it or not, the whorehouse is where you need to go to enter the caves.
What?
The ladies thought they'd use that passage to service the knights and nobles, but some monsters have their lairs there. If you've had your fill of whores and monsters, to the east there's a path that leads along the riverbank. That'll get you near the canteen. You'll have to sneak the rest of the way from there.
Thanks, Roach.
Hey, I'll hold you to your promise.
Thanks, Roach. I swear, I'll stop mysteriously appearing next to people who are no longer living. So... Oh, what is that? I can help you out? Will that help? Will I win you over then? Or will I accidentally hit your friend and then... Oh, that's gonna explode. Yep. Well, that poison hurts a lot. Well, don't just stand next to it, dude. Hey, Roach. You gonna do anything about this? Did he just... He just disappeared! Oh god! Okay, so I think what Roach was saying, and I should double check this, is that there are two paths. There is sort of like a stealthy pass, or a stealthy path, that will not require as much combat, but, I mean, have you seen our stealth skills? They don't exist. And then there's the more combat-oriented route. So let's see... there's a lot. I'm looking for specifically where we last left off. Following the confusion with Prince Stennis, Geralt was forced to seek Philippa's advice. The sorceress had more time for him and helped the Witcher with a very important matter. I am forced to admit that once Philippa rolled up her sleeves and finally got to work, the results proved miraculous. Using her megascope, she ascertained that Triss was in an area shielded from divination magic, that is, either on the cursed battlefield or on the other side of it. The reader may ask if this was the limit of what this mistress of magic could do under the circumstances. But the learned among you know that cursed places are naturally saturated with chaotic energy and immune to penetration. Philippa gave Geralt an amulet that would lead him safely through the spectral mist, so the Witcher resumed his search for Triss without further ado. Okay, so that's what the amulet was that we were holding, not our Witcher amulet. The path through the mist was a path through a battle, through a clash of two Wraith armies born of soldiers who had died in a struggle between Kedwin and Edirn many years ago. Death and chaos ruled that cursed soil, and Geralt was an intruder. But he was also a witcher, so he managed to get to the other side. To say he did so unscathed would be to say the elves had benefited from human colonization, so no. Vernon Roach awaited Geralt on the other side of the deathly cloud, and believe me, the Witcher would rather have crossed the mist back and again than talk to Roach. I like the guy, but yeah, we're not on the best of terms at the moment. Yet despite their differences, they shared a goal. Both wished to find Triss. Vernon claimed the sorceress could be in Henselt's camp among the Nilfgaardians. I don't totally get... I thought Nilfgaard was its own location, its own state. I mean, you hear all about the war with the Nilfgaardians and what have you, but I don't really understand why Henselt is with the Nilfgaardians or vice versa. Geralt could not enter through the front gate. He had a choice. Use an eastern entrance by the river along the cliffs, or ask the camp followers about another way in. So I think we're looking for that other way in. Excuse me? What? Uh-oh! Hello! So what I'm guessing is that the corpses are basically fuel for the rot fiends, like that's how they're getting created, more or less. So you have to burn them to get rid of the rot fiends long term. That's my suspicion. I think that someone will probably end up telling us about that sometime in the future. We just haven't learned of it yet. Now, are we just committing arson for no good reason? Yeah, maybe. Dishonoring the dead? Certainly. Will that come back to haunt us? Yeah, probably. So, like, is this the little camp? Or is this a place where we're gonna instantly get found out and fail? This looks promising, though. This certainly looks like the cave. Or at least a cave. That looks a lot like the mist that we are theoretically trying to avoid. Hold on, I do see we have 2 indicators on our map. So, yeah, we have one... Whoa, one that's way up in north and I guess a little east. And one that is the camp over there. Thought we were saying the camp was the one we wanted to do. Let me double check that real quick, just in case we're about to lock in that decision. Down here to the bottom. It would let me come to the bottom. Come on. Come on. Scroll down. Scrolling down. Yeah, so I just want to make sure that I think we want to take the combat route, because like I was saying, we're not so great at that whole stealth thing. Probably better if we just stay away from that. So we had a choice. Use the eastern entrance by the river along the cliffs. Okay, yeah, so it's really north more than it's east. Or to ask the camp followers about another way in. And yeah, the camp followers, we were expecting to say use the cave system, and the cave system would have more monsters, but might ultimately be better fit for us.
I fought the Nilfgaardians a few years back. Now we make the job. Oh, pretty
Hello? Oh, and yes, confirmed, it is in fact a brothel. So, seeing if there's anything else of note in here that might be, like, helpful to us.
Steady yourself, pauper.
Ugh,
Eh.
warriors.
Let's just talk to them.
Well, a Witcher. Girls, trim yourselves. How can I help you, Hans?
Mostly this.
I wanted to talk.
We're no strangers to the art of conversation, but it'll cost you just as much as a good plough.
Really? How much is that?
Sounds all right.
Ask away, then. What would you like to talk about?
I'm gonna pay you just to tell me how things are going in the camp.
Anything interesting going on in the camp?
Soldiers are scared shitless, what with this battle approaching. They'd rather drink themselves silly than let us honest whores make some coin. Is that interesting? I doubt it.
Not raring to fight, are they?
They might have been eager at first, but the longer we sit here, the less lively they become. Fighting's like ploughing. Lust for one, and you lust for the other.
Excuse me, no, I don't think we paid for that.
Witcher. Girls.
But I definitely had other
yourselves.
things that I wanted to speak to you about. And if I actually need to talk to you about, or if I actually need to pay you to get all of that
We're no
information, then
strangers to the art of
in
conversation.
individual
But
sets,
it'll
then maybe
cost
we ought to
you just as
prioritize
much.
a little bit more. Okay.
Sounds all right.
Ask away then. What would you like to...
So we asked about this. And this is the primary thing we're trying to get information about. I mean, I assume that we can just go through that
I
cave, but
wouldn't
maybe
mind
not.
knowing what you think of Hensel.
I'm a madam. What can I know about the king?
I seem to remember that madams and innkeepers know everything.
He used to come here to plough, to develop a camaraderie with the fighting men like. But that was just a phase. Most likely only ploughs the sweet, snilling ladies now.
Okay. I'm curious. I want to see if we're actually losing coins every time we talk to her. So we're sitting on 4322.
Well,
We'll
how
ask,
can I-
actually ask her about something important
I
now.
wanted to talk.
We're no...
I guess that previous one was kind of
Ask
important.
away then. What would you like to...
This is maybe not terribly
Heard of the
important,
Virgin of Edinburgh?
comparatively.
Hasn't everyone?
Any thoughts?
Oh yes.
At least not from
A
her.
maturing woman like that never been ploughed. Her head's bound to be muddled. We'll have peace when she drops her sword to grab a nice healthy prick instead.
Did that cost us anything? No. She's lying.
Well, how can
Okay.
I want.
We're...
Now the thing that we actually
Ask
came
away.
here
What
for.
would you...
How the heck do we get inside the camp?
Inside the camp, unnoticed.
That would cost you more than straight ploughing.
That's what I figured would cost something. Oh! Yeah, certainly the right side of that scale would be a lot more than nothing. And therefore I would also assume that, definitely not going to be able to sneak in without paying a pretty hefty sum here. I have no idea how high we actually need to go, so I'm just probably going to end up going somewhere in the middle. I don't know if there are any skills that we might be able to pick up that might make it easier for us to make it so that we don't have to pay as much when we're bribing people like this. Because we do have the charm and the Axie mind control thing. We have the intimidate as well, but I don't know if those feed into this. I would think that this would be the sort of most similar scenario, at least, or that would be the most applicable skill under this circumstance, I would think. So, I mean, what, our, like, damage with our sword? Is that going to affect how much we need to pay people during bribes? Yeah, you know, this thing could cleave you right in half, so you should definitely pay, or let me pay less in this bribe. I have no idea. Now, also, I think we did see on a few other occasions that when we bribed or attempted to bribe and we failed, we may not have had the opportunity to do that again. Like, if you mess up, then you botch your chance altogether. So, gotta do it right the first time. And therefore, I think for that reason, I don't know, 330? 336? Make it 300 less than the maximum? I have no idea.
That's nowhere near enough.
Excuse
I need to
me?
get inside the camp, unnoticed.
That would cost you more than straight ploughing.
Will you give me the... Okay, you will give me the opportunity to... Oh, hold on. Okay, I also didn't know if I could, move the mount quicker. So I'm playing on a controller right now, so it's like, do I just have to hit the D-pad every time? So I did see, what, it went from 636 was the maximum amount before. Now, obviously, 722 would suggest that we probably do need to still go higher. Now, this is turning into quite a payday this person is about to make from us. And I don't know if is it percentage based? Is it like, you know, the higher the bribe you give, the higher percentage chance you have? Like if you go 722 would be 100% chance of success, and 1 would be 0% chance of success, and then it scales linearly along that spectrum, maybe? In which case, we could just keep on going one, until she finally accepts. But, I don't know how I feel about that. So let's try 550. There we go.
That seems satisfactory.
Yeah, that was an absorbent amount of money.
Passageway leading out to the riverbank within the camp's confines.
Thanks.
Although we've not used it for some time. There's something down there. Something evil, horrible.
I'm sure I'll manage.
The entrance is inside the tent.
Oh. Okay, we did. I was gonna say, so we presumably could have just gone in and done that ourselves. So I was kind of wondering, like, why do we need to bribe you in order to do that? Because we did just have Vernon Roach tell us that that place existed, but it seems as though we did get a key from her. So at the very least, we picked that up, which I guess otherwise we might not have had, and therefore we might have hit a bit of a brick wall and not been able to progress had we not bribed her. So I think it was still necessary. As for whether we might have been able to save a little bit of money relative to what we ultimately had to spend, yeah, probably. We messed up a little bit there, but we'll deal with it. But anyways, I think this is a good place for us to wrap up this video. So hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll catch you in the next one where we'll delve into whatever lies ahead in that cave.
When they open themselves to us so graciously, eh?